Hi, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Straight up to our top story. Prices of fuel were reduced after the centre and state have reduced their taxes. If you remember, on Wednesday, the union government had cut excise duty on petrol by 5 rupees per litre and that on diesel by 10 rupees a litre. Now, meanwhile, several states and union territories run by the BJP have followed suit with the centre's footsteps as well. Petrol price has been reduced further by as much as 8.7 rupees per litre and diesel by 9.52 rupees per litre in BJP ruled states and union territories. Now, some of these states include Assam, Tripura, Manipur, Karnataka, Goa, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Odisha, and Arunachal Pradesh. Now, Congress leader P. Chidambaram, in the meantime, called the fuel price cuts a byproduct of by elections, indicating that the centre reduced the prices after losing by polls in Himachal Pradesh and West Bengal. Meanwhile, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has said that the BJP has to be defeated completely if the fuel prices have to be brought down by 50 rupees per litre. Meanwhile, despite the Delhi government's complete ban on firecrackers, including the green ones, Delhi's air quality index was severe. Several people complained of itchy throat and watery eyes. According to several news reports, even after the ban, people were seen bursting firecrackers, which further degraded the air quality. Neighboring cities of Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Gurgaon, and Noida, all above the 400 category, which means that their air quality was severe, and crackers were being burst as well after 9 p.m., according to several news reports. Now, the Haryana government has also imposed a ban on the sale of use of all kinds of firecrackers in 14 of its districts in the National Capital Region, while curbs were put in other places. Now, according to experts, there are multiple reasons for bad air quality. Of course, firecrackers is not the only thing. Calm winds, low temperature, stubble burning in neighboring states are one of the biggest reasons, and of course, firecrackers. An update now from Haryana. A farmer was seriously injured after police allegedly lathi charged at a protest that was being held against the visit of a BJP MP at Hisar district of Haryana. Now, the police, however, has denied the lathi charging, and they've said that the farmer sustained injuries after he fell in a street nala during the protest. Now, according to the Indian Express, the farmers had organized a protest after the BJP MP referred to them as jobless alcoholics and bad elements. Now, the windshield of the MP's car was also damaged during a confrontation between the agitating farmers and the police. Now the DSP told the new Indian Express, and I quote, "No police lathi charge took place. He got injured when he fell in a street nala. He was already suffering from epilepsy disease. We arrested two of the farmers for breaking the windshield of an MP's car," end quote. According to PTI, this MP has told reporters, and I quote, "After concluding my program, I was on my way to attend another function when some miscreants threw lathis on my car, leaving it damaged. No one was hurt," end quote. Moving on now, an update in the NCB case. 6 cases are being handled by Samir Wankhede. The NCB officer leading inquiries into the Aryan Khan drugs case has now been transferred out of his Mumbai unit. Now, this comes after allegations of an 8 crore rupee payoff linked to the case involving Aryan Khan. An SIT or Special Investigation Team to be led by Senior Police Officer Sanjay Singh will take over the Aryan Khan case, as well as 6 others that were being handled by Mr. Wankhede. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate has issued summons to former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh's son Hrishikesh Deshmukh in connection with the money laundering case. Now, according to ED, dismissed Assistant Police Inspector Sachin Baze allegedly collected 4.7 crore rupees from orchestra bar owners in Mumbai for smooth functioning of the bars and gave this money to Deshmukh's personal assistant, who later handed over the money to somebody in Nagpur. Now, Hrishikesh Deshmukh was earlier summoned twice by the agency. He failed to appear before the federal agency as well. Meanwhile, former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh had submitted an affidavit on Wednesday before an inquiry commission probing his corruption allegations against former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, saying he does not have any further evidence to share in the matter. Now, a court in Mumbai had earlier sent former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh to the Enforcement Directorate's custody till the 6th of November. Moving on, the death cases from suspected spurious liquor consumption in Bihar has now gone up to 23. Over 24 people have been arrested in this case. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar had said that action is being taken against people who prepare spurious liquor. Now, West Champaran Superintendent of Police Upendranath Verma told the Hindustan Times, and I quote, "We're waiting for the post-mortem report to reach any conclusion. Prima facie, these deaths appear to have occurred due to the consumption of poisonous substances." End quote. Also in the news, Navjot Singh Sidhu has said that he has taken back his resignation as Punjab Congress chief, but gave a new ultimatum to the Congress. He said that he will return to his office when a new Advocate General is appointed. Now, this comes as the Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi has reportedly rejected the resignation of APSDO. The man, Navjot Singh Sidhu, wants removed as the Advocate General of Punjab. Now, moving on to updates on COVID. India has reported 12,729 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Kerala has reported 6,580 new COVID cases. Meanwhile, Karnataka has withdrawn its night curfew, which was imposed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. In addition to this, the government has also allowed the resumption of horse racing in compliance with all COVID safety protocols. Not just that, Karnataka has also given a go-ahead to start lower kindergarten or LKG and upper kindergarten or UKG classes across the state from Monday, which is the 8th of November. Now, schools will be started in districts where there is less than 2% of COVID positivity rate. Schools have to conduct half-day classes from Monday to Friday between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Moving on now to news coming in from across the world. The WHO on Wednesday said the number of coronavirus cases has risen in Europe for the 5th consecutive week, making it the only world region where COVID-19 is still increasing, which is a bit worrying because the WHO's Europe head has said, and I quote, "We are at another critical point of pandemic resurgence. Europe is back at the epicenter of the pandemic where we were 1 year ago," end quote. Now, majority of the cases from Europe has been driven mostly by Britain, Russia, Turkey, and Romania. Also in the news, according to Reuters, Britain became the first country in the world to approve the antiviral pill jointly developed by the US-based Merck and Ridgeback Biotherapeutics Molnupiravir. Now, the drug will be used in people with mild to moderate COVID and at least one risk factor for developing severe illness such as obesity, older age diabetes, and heart disease. Now, the UK government has dubbed it as a groundbreaking treatment. On to sports news right now. The Cricket Advisory Committee of BCCI have appointed Rahul Dravid as the head or coach of Team India's senior men. Now, the former Indian captain will take charge from the upcoming home series against New Zealand. This comes after the BCCI had invited applications for this position on the 26th of October to appoint Mr. Ravi Shastri's successor, whose term gets over after the ongoing ICC T20 World Cup. Now, before we leave you, we give you one piece of good news. With an aim to tackle climate change and global warming, an Israeli startup, which is called High Hopes Labs, has developed balloons to trap carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, where it is almost solidified for recycling. Now, Reuters has reported that according to the startup CEO, the company aims to build larger balloons within 2 years that could each be deployed to remove a ton of carbon a day at a cost below $100, much less than comparable on-ground facilities currently in use. That's it here on Just the News. Thank you so much for watching.